Howdy.
So Sarah, was the birthday good yesterday?
It was great. Yeah, she had a really good time.
Good.
Yeah, it turned out really well. So
good.
All but not able to get her license. Everything was great. So she's just
Hey, Sarah, we're getting ready to go ahead and open up the golf cart stuff again after the first. Maybe we can just get our license.
there you go. Anything she can drive.
Is the DMV opening back up, or they're keeping that closed?
I believe it's still closed through May 30th, I think.
That seems essential to me, but okay.
Yeah. Ellie would agree that it's essential.
I was going to say, depends on whether you have your license or not, I guess, but yeah.
For her,
What are you supposed to do if you need to renew your license?
I think you can do that online if you're not making any major changes. If you're a certain age or have regulations.
And didn't they also extend the expiration dates?
Yeah, they've given a grace period. So, but you can get them online and spend a couple dollars extra for your credit card and you have them in a week.
Dale, do you know if you want to upgrade the license to the new format for flying and stuff, can you still do that online?
For flying.
You know, you're going
The
to
Gold Star?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think you got to go in and get that on your license. So you have to go in and get a whole new license and they'll probably mail it to you. Okay. I think they extended the year out or so.
When I renewed my license, they asked me if I wanted that because you need to have I can't really hear it. Proofs of purchase down there, like your, or I should say proofs of identity, void cards and birth certificates and all that kind of stuff. And I had enough.
I think you got to go in and get that on your license.
That they were able to.
You have to go in and get a whole new license and they'll probably mail it to you. I think they extended the year out or so.
When I renewed my license, they asked me if I wanted that because you need to have I took proofs of purchase down there, like your, or I should say.
It's just like Denny hogging the show. There's Patrick.
Donnie, what happened to your background?
I don't know. It's not there anymore. Hello. I don't have either the Death Star or the Bridge of the Enterprise anymore.
Oh, man.
I know. I was very disappointed.
I kind of like the Bridge of the Enterprise.
Yeah, I know. How cool was that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm playing with my screen, making the pictures move around. Uh-oh. There, okay.
All right, we have all 6 board members on. Dale, have you got your flag again tonight?
I do.
We're going to need you to wave that again here in a minute.
We're close in time.
All right, I have 7 o'clock. The meeting will come to order. Please stand for the pledge. We'll start with that. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
for which
it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everyone. Allison, will you start with roll call?
Dave Brutlog,
Here.
Joe Boyd,
Here.
Kathy Brooks,
Here.
Jim Campbell,
Here.
Don Gibson,
here.
Bill Morris,
Here.
Pat O'Grady.
Here. All right, thank you. I want the record to show today is April 29th at 7 p.m. We're having a meeting primarily to finish the work on our budget. Besides the trustees, we have Sarah, Allison, and Danny Engel attending online. If there are anybody that's viewing out in the audience on YouTube, welcome. We hope you will find tonight's meeting a little bit informational. If anyone needs to speak, you will need to send a message to our meeting coordinator, Sarah Hill. Sarah will relay that message to the board. If you do want to speak, you will need to supply your name and your address, just like we were having a meeting up at the library. So if you send Sarah that, your name and address, and then your comment or question, we will get you involved towards the end of the meeting during the citizens hearing. Okay, we have a lot of small topics and 1 or 2 major ones tonight. First, Sarah, were there any additional bills to be paid?
There are. I just got them today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see the list of them to be able to approve them.
Okay, does any of the trustees have any questions on the bills?
No.
If not, would anybody make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Allison, did you get the people?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Are there any other questions or discussion on the bills? If not, let's have roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Don Gibson,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes. All right, so go ahead and get those done, Sarah. Thank you. All right, next bullet on the agenda is discuss opening of the parks. I did send an email to Jeff Waller and asked him what his opinion was I think most of us know the state is starting to reopen some of the state parks, and there's a variety of things going on there. And Jeff, for now, would like us to open the areas of the park that are open, but keep the playground equipment closed at this time because of the potential that the virus could be on the surface of the structures. So if the board agrees with that, and we'll back Jeff on that, then I would like to agree with Jeff and tell him to go ahead and post that for now. Any comments or thoughts from the board? Guess not. I'll assume there's no objections to doing that, and we'll get that information posted, and we'll see what happens, with everything that's going on with the state and all the lawsuits and everything. So that may change shortly, but for now, that's what our policy will be then. Okay, we have several things now that we've talked about. Phil, would you like to talk about the snowplow mounts?
Yeah, we talked about it last meeting. Pretty much got the approval then. We just needed to vote on it for sure tonight. What we're going to do is take the one of the service trucks and take the mounts for the plow off of it and put it on the new salt truck that we have up in El Paso, being worked on at current time, so we can get the mount put on while it's up there. And so I guess at this time, if anybody's got any questions, bring them up. But other than that, then I would need a motion, or I make a motion to have the plow mounts mounted on the salt truck from one of the service trucks.
I'll second if it needs a second.
Yes, we need a second. Okay, Allison, Phil made the motion and Joe seconded it. Is there any questions or additional discussion? If not, Allison, roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Don Gibson,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
Okay, next item on the agenda is possible block tile. Phil, would you like to start the discussion on that?
Yeah, Dave, if I could reverse the order on some of these bullet points.
Yep.
I'd like to go down to approval of purchasing a new snowplow for the service truck. That kind of goes hand in hand with what we got to do. We're taking the mounts off of one of the service trucks to put on the salt truck. So we're going to put that plow on the salt truck. So we need approval for a new snow plow to put on the service truck we take the mountain plow off of. So at this point, we talked about that last meeting too. I think, Denny, correct me if I'm wrong, that was going to come out of the vehicle fund. And there was plenty of money in there. If we took that money out for the plow, we would still have enough money for vehicle purchase later on.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, what was the cost estimate on that new plow?
Was it $8,900, Denny?
Yes, sir.
$8,900.
Okay, Bill, would you make that a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to purchase the new snow plow and equipment necessary for the plow on one of the service trucks.
Okay, we have a motion. Did I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we got a second from Kathy Brooks. Is there any additional discussion or questions on the motion? If not, Allison, roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Don Gibson,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
Asking you small questions or just talking? Yeah. Okay, that's true.
Okay, where's that coming from? Any ideas?
No.
Okay.
Dave, if I could, go ahead. I'd like to hold off on the backhoe possible purchase until last.
Sure, we can do that.
So I guess we need to get into, I'd like to go into beginning work on a possible block tile. And Denny can help me out here. The tile is in the alley between Northwest Street and North McLean Street and north of Walnut Street. And we've got some cleanouts up through there. And Denny and I have talked to CK Brush about coming in to give us an estimate to jet the tiles in that alley both ways, a little bit north of, I think roughly, Denny, if I'm not mistaken, 275 feet north of Walnut Street and 275 feet approximately south of Walnut Street going towards the creek.
That's all correct.
And we've got some estimates for that, but Denny hadn't figured that in. This problem just arose this weekend with the heavy rains. So Denny wants to try to tackle this and resolve what's going on there. So I'm asking for a couple $1,000s more in the drainage account. And I think Sarah was going to try to help me out there.
Yeah, I already added that in, Phil, so it's in there.
Okay, I haven't seen that figure yet, so I'm hoping you got it in there. So that would bring that figure to the maintenance of drainage to $5,500. Is that correct?
I believe so, but let me just make sure that is what I've got in there. Let me just double check for you here. Hold on.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. So we do have the 2,000 in there, Denny. Does anyone have any discussion on us possibly getting into researching what's going on with that particular tile? No
I think
discussion?
Denny, or my recommendation is that we need to do it. I mean, if it's possibly blocked, there are a fair share of homes that could be, you know, the drainage for those yards could be slowed down. So we need to get it checked.
What was
If we can, go ahead, Kelly.
I was going to say, what was the streets again? Walnut and what?
Walnut Street, you know, which goes by the post office.
Right.
So bring that between West Street and McLean Street.
So the tile is in the alley. The tile, it runs in the alley parallel to West and McLean. And basically the center point is Walnut. So as Phil was saying, approximately 275 feet north and south to cleanouts, and try our best to clean those out with the help of brush.
Okay, I just could not get it in my mind. Thank you.
Yeah, we'd like to try to get in there and see what's going on. Denny's put up with this for several years, and every time we get a heavy rain, we seem to have a problem there. So supposedly the jetter that CK Brush has will go, I think he has 500 foot of line, but that's not saying he could go 500 feet. If there's a blockage, if he found a blockage, we may have to dig it up to try to find out what's going on. So that's where that $2,000 is coming in.
Okay, so we do have that increase then in the budget for next year. And Denny and Phil continue to work with CK Brush and meet with them and get that project started.
Okay.
Okay, Phil?
Yep.
You got anything else here?
Let's see, we jumped around. Yeah, I guess I'd like to go to discussion and possible approval of a backhoe purchase. And I know it was late today, probably 4:30 or so. I sent out a spreadsheet to Sarah and all of you. And just the spreadsheet just kind of shows what we've been told. And there you go. That's great, Sarah. If anybody couldn't get it printed off, Sarah's got it up on the screen, so that's pretty nice. Okay, the first line across there shows what we talked about the other night was the new price for a brand new backhoe right now is $107,000. So we talked to John Deere, Martin Equipment, the salesman we usually work with, and he's telling us that our trade-in on the current backhoe is approximately $47,000. So cost with trade on that would be about $60,000. So currently in the fund, and I guess I should say if we approved the budget, because we allowed $4,000 in the budget this year or for next year, we're starting out at $72,283 for 2020. So that would leave us with a balance of about $12,283. That's where we sit right now in 2020 if we were to order the backhoe. Now you can see as you go across each year with the cost of the hoe, they said anywhere, the state bid, we buy them through state bids. So the state bids can range anywhere from at least 2% to 5%. So I took 5%, ran it across the board as a worst case scenario. And then the backhoe, they told us what it would be worth next year. That's about 10%. So I figured 10% straight across the board for about another 5 years. So you can see as you go across, we're losing about $10,000 every year between what the new hoe is going to cost and what we would trade for. So it depends where you want to be as a board, but we had one, Joe Boyd was asking me if we could buy that hoe outright. So come 5 years or 6 years, if you go down there and look, with $8,000 put in that fund every year, we're going to be at $112,283. Cost of a new hoe at 5% is $136,562. So I don't know how we would ever catch up with the difference there. Now, like I say, this is a scenario. So I went ahead and figured also, because we stuck $4,000 in there this year in the fund, if we do it for another 5 years after this year, and you can really see how that fund goes down, where we would be in 2025 at the cost of a hoe of $136,000 plus, and the fund being at $92,000 with the trade. We couldn't even do it. So I welcome discussion on that. Otherwise, Denny and I have talked about it a lot. We've discussed Joe's emails to us. We've talked to the dealer. And at this point, I would like to see us go ahead and get the backhoe this year, because I think it's the best bang for our buck, and leave us with a good balance in the account to build on for future years. Questions, answers, discussion, whatever.
What's the life of the backhoe? I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Well, it depends, how it's used and taken care of, Kathy.
Guesstimate.
I mean, you can research it, and the hours use on the hoe is what makes them worth their money. We have approximately 1,500 hours on our backhoe, and it's 10 years old. But Denny's informing me that over the last, I don't know how many years now, we've been doing like limb pickup and cleaning out the bunkers with the landscaping waste. We're putting that hoe on the road more, and it's causing, wear and tear on the tires and the equipment more so than what we would normally use it. So what's going to happen is if you continue and we keep this hoe each year as it gets older, we're going to have to put more money in the maintenance of equipment if something does go wrong. So it's kind of a wash of what we're putting in the fund. And now we're going to have to throw maybe $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in the maintenance of equipment, which is going to increase our budget even more so to take care of future problems that we may encounter with the hoe being, over 10 years old.
Okay, I agree with you. By the look of the numbers, now would be the time to do it. I was just curious as to, will this mean that the new hoe we will be able to, with maintenance, et cetera, be able to keep for 8 or 10 years?
Oh, yeah.
And be able to build that fund back up?
Yes. I would say we should build that fund back up and look at it in 10 years and see where we're at. And
which has been the trend that has been done previously throughout the years prior to our current situation. My understanding from Frank through history is that 10 years previous to this one and 10 years approximately previous to that one, and I may have misunderstood that, but that's my understanding that has always been the policy to build a fund, and once it gets to a certain year, as the same way that we try to do with the service vehicles and the police vehicles and everything else that we own, to keep them somewhat current and up to date.
Okay, yeah, well, regular, in my opinion, doing it on a set time frame makes it easier to anticipate than...
To anticipate the costs.
Right, and ad hoc, just suddenly out of the blue saying, oh, we need one.
well, we're not doing it just because we've got the monies available. I can tell you that.
Well, if it's already 10 years old,
It's got granted it's got low hours on it, but that makes the trade-in value better to give us a better trade. So, I mean, it's up to the board what you guys want to do, but I say, let's move on it while things are good. We don't know what's going to happen in the future with possible repairs. We're rolling the dice. So, not saying that ours is in bad shape.
Well, I think with the numbers that you show, the most prudent thing to do right now would be to go ahead and get the new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other discussion from any other trustees or mayor?
If you want to buy a hoe every 10 years, though, you also have to bump up how much you're saving, because if the price is going to go up that much, I mean, in 10 years, you're going to save $80,000 if you do $8,000 a year. So you're not going to be able to buy another hoe in 10 years. So we need to increase that line item if that's something we have to keep doing.
Well, granted, Joe, and that's something that future boards can look at, but $8,000 is a good chunk of money to throw at it every year. And this year we're already looking at cutting it $4,000 because we don't have the money in revenue. So we've taken $4,000 out of there just to help our budget for this year. Now, if that starts happening for the next 5 or 6 years or up to 10 years, yeah, they're not going to be able to get a new hoe in 10 years. So
let's hope everybody spends lots of money at Dollar General, I guess.
I guess we hope so, huh? So that's my 2 cents worth. So, I welcome discussion on this. So
My compliments to you and Denny for putting the spreadsheet together and the numbers, and for checking with John Deere on potential price increases and trade-in allowances. And it's really, to me, it shows it's a really good time to go ahead and trade.
okay. I guess if there's no further discussion, then I make a motion, we go ahead and purchase a new backhoe and trade in our backhoe that we have.
I'll second that.
Allison, did you get the second?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, so we have a motion and second to go ahead with the purchase and trade-in of a new backhoe. Is there any additional discussion or questions? If not, Allison, please take the roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy
It's
Brooks,
hard. Sometimes it's difficult.
What? Yes?
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
John Gibson,
Yes.
Phil Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
Denny, can you hang on to that spreadsheet and pass it on so it's available in 10 years from now?
Well, I want to give, I did make the call to John Deere, but I would like to pass the credit all on to Phil for coming up with that nice spreadsheet. I think it really helps see the picture in the future. So I will receive that in an email and try my best to keep it.
That'd be good. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank the board for letting us do this.
Okay, Phil, I think that was the end of your topics.
I believe so.
All right. The next bullet point on the agenda is the budget review. And I want to start by saying a big thank you to Sarah. I've been bugging her for a lot of information for weeks now, and she's always got the answers and does a great job giving them to me. So thank you, Sarah. We really appreciate all the work and effort you've done on this. So
No problem.
all right. I think we left off with starting with the police. I think that's the last one we have to review tonight. So Pat or Dale, would either of you like to talk about the police budget?
Go ahead, Dale.
Okay. General fund. Okay, there we go. All right. At page 1.
I got you on police revenues.
Okay. Revenues. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just looking at the sheet with everybody there. We don't do any contract hire back, of course. Electronic ticket money. That's funds we receive from the courts on every citation that we receive. So that's a fund that we continue to build. But that money is also required to be spent on equipment for ticket writing, etc. So that's kind of where it is. But we get like $2 for every ticket that we write. Towanda contract is no longer valid. 4th of July policing is no longer valid. Traffic fines is showing 9,500. We'll see where we're at. We're going through a slow phase right now because of the virus. Parking fines went down immensely. Majority of ours violations happened during garage sale sales, and we're not going to see that this year, or at least not planning on that. Towanda fines doesn't count. DUI fines, we got 400 in there. Just a rough estimate. When we get it, we get it. Drug money, if we get that again, that's great, but we got to catch the drug and get it. It'll be a couple of years before we get it anyhow. Police reports is from when we get paid from like LexisNexis, when somebody else needs a copy of a report, they pay us for those. Animal control, last year was nothing. Of course, this year's nothing, but they do charge us if we take an animal in for like $30. Well, that's an income, so that's nothing there. Miscellaneous fines, just hit and miss on numbers there. Police supervision, that's fines from the court. People, depending on how they settled in court. If they take police supervision, we'll get $20. So under supervision, of course, is blank. Permit fees, it's pretty much golf cart permit fees. We're doing okay on those. We left them where it's at, a little bit higher. Each year it goes up a little bit. Miscellaneous revenues, really, you never know what's going to come in, but we left it there as it was. Squad car trade-in, we don't plan on making any trades this year. CDs, I don't deal with that. Equipment grant, in the past we've gotten grants for equipment. The fund that we generally draw them from, there's no guarantee. That money comes from the courts and then is assigned through a grant, McLean County Crime Detection Grant. And there's probably not going to be very much money in that at all. So I doubt we see anything from that. So that leaves our total at $14,335. Any questions on that?
Go ahead with the expenses.
This is always the fun part. Okay, salaries again, salaries will be salaries for 2 full-timers and then a half a year for our hopefully future hire. So that shows us at 164,528. Training hire back. That was in the past we've used when officers were on training. We would hire back part-time work to fill their slot so the streets were covered. It was decision made this year, we will not do that. So there'll be a vacancy on the street. There's no fund for that. Vacation hire back, that will be for the holiday hours. I believe, is that right, Claire? Holiday hours worked, officers will work the holidays and that'll be a time and a half rate. Board compensation, of course, is for the board members. Animal control last year, again, it's a guess. If we get up an animal and take it to the pound, it's going to cost us $30 an animal. So that's what that's there for if we need it. Office cleaning is same as last year, but maybe a little bit higher. I get no idea, same as last year. $660. General insurance, of course, Sarah came up with that number, $16,000. Where are we at? Number telephone, again, that's just a general rate what we pay. No way for us to control that, to my knowledge. Utilities, standard. Don't plan on doing any rental. Wireless mobile, that's a line item for the computer in our squad cars. I think it's paid $95 a month for that. Plus times, well, that covers both units, both computers. And that's something we use every year, every day. Equipment lease, no plan on that. Travel expense is $500. That's if we have to go to a class or pay for food or anything that comes up. Training expense, we've got $750, covers our range program and some of our extra bullets and et cetera that we may need. That we brought that down a little bit this year, I believe. Postage, best guess. Advertising, we put $750 in there for advertising for a new hire. Of course, temporary employees, we don't have them. Other professional services, this year we added a line or we didn't ever have a fund there. We put in $1,500 because we have someone who wants to work with us on IT, and that's the best guess of where we may be with him. Dues usually go for our training dues, our membership dues for all the organizations, the Illinois Chief of Police, just dues that we have to pay. Building maintenance, we got $3,500 in there. Our building is in need of exterior maintenance primarily. If you look at it, you'll see paint popping off the sides. That needs to be taken care of. This won't take care of all of that, but there's some funds there should we need it. Also underneath the building, we've talked about it in the past few years, we're getting iron rot or rust from the siding where it meets the concrete. That needs to be pulled out and maybe some flashing put in to take care of that. We don't have a real problem now, but it needs to be addressed. Maintenance for vehicles, we brought that number down, I believe, a little bit this year. all of our cars are in pretty good shape. We've got a 2016, the one I drive, it's got 14,000 miles on it. The one that Colton had driven, brand new engine, very few miles on that brand new engine. That's a 2015. Tom's got 110 on his, but it's running good and it looks good, and we're going to keep it for a while. So I think our maintenance on our vehicles will go down a little bit this year. Maintenance on equipment, that number, I anticipate, one of our radar signs went down last year, cost us $800 to get it repaired. We've got two that have the same age on them. And when we bought those two, and then Danvers also bought one, theirs also had to be repaired. So I have to assume our other two will probably soon to be repaired. So that's why that number is where it's at. Office supplies, office supplies, 3,000, pretty much standard. Covers everything we do in the office, books, ticket forms, you name it, even right down to toiletries in the bathroom. Uniforms. Your question? Okay. Uniforms, if we hire an officer, we're going to have to buy a vest and uniform him. Usually pretty pricey with the leather and everything on that. Gas and oil, we'll probably do pretty good this last quarter anyhow. But I don't know where we'll be next year. Police grant expenditures. I can't think what we were going to put on that line item, Sarah. Grant
I think
expenditures.
you originally had 2,500 in the grant when you thought you were going to get it, and then now you aren't getting it.
Yeah, that number is gone. If we get anything, it'll be a God's blessing, but I don't see any money coming there at all. Donations.
This is expenditures, it's not revenues.
Right.
Yeah, well, the revenue's not coming, so we're not planning on spending anything there either.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything budgeted for that money. So donations, we haven't received very many donations. So if we don't have anything in there, Tawana fines, of course, won't apply. Miscellaneous expenses, $1,500. Again, for the building, capital outlay, $2,000. Should we have anything that we'd have to deal with? Vehicles, capital outlay, of course, is zero. And equipment, we're looking at another computer in the officer's room. Actually, I believe he said our warranty expired, I think, in 2014. So he said, even though it's still working, we better replace it. So that's pretty much the equipment expense there. So you can see the bottom line there.
So Sarah, it's 6:30, the last entry?
I'm sorry, what's that, Dave?
Is 6:30 the equipment, the final? Okay, I can see now it is last entry.
I have a question.
Sure.
So the FY 2010 month column is what?
That is where we're at 10 months this year of what we get spent.
Okay, and the FY 20 column is actually going to be our FY 21 budget. Is it just mislabeled or?
It's mislabeled. I apologize. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
You don't have to fix it. I was just curious how we're going to only spend $1,500 when we've already spent $9,500. But
that's my fault. I apologize.
I get it now. Thanks.
Okay, did any of the board members, or does anyone have any questions on police expenses or revenues? Okay, I want to thank Dale too. I've been kind of a pain with some of my questions, so thanks for all the information you helped supply too, Dale.
No problem.
Okay, Sarah, it's time for the drum roll and the figure out where we're at here.
Yeah, give me just a second here because it's going to change because we took some out there with Dale. So hang on here. I need to transfer some. we are balanced. We will need to transfer from last year $76,672.27, which we had $83,000 that we could have transferred if we needed to. So we are balanced at this point.
Okay, so we have a few more thousand available if we wanted to put it in any of the, put them back in the vehicle and equipment fund accounts, because we cut some of those way down. Is that correct?
Yes. Let me look here. We've got $5,000 we could put back in somewhere. So we took $4,000 out of street and water backhoe. We took away from the street and water vehicle. My suggestion, looking at those two numbers, the street and water vehicle has plenty in it and they don't need that for a few years. The backhoe is the one that we feel like we need to continue to build. My suggestion would be maybe we put the full $8,000 in the backhoe instead of $4,000. That's just my thoughts. I don't know what everyone else thinks there.
Well, I think Joe made a good observation in that, in 10 years from now, if the price keeps going up at that rate, even at $8,000 a year, we're going to be real tight, and we may never hit it with $4,000 a year. So, what does the board think about putting that one back at $8,000?
I agree.
If we can get away with it and still balance the budget, I'd say yes. And I think who's ever on the board as a trustee of streets with Denny need to keep a close eye every year what's happening in prices of the backhoes and what the trade-in values are year to year.
I think that's a good idea.
So do I put that one at 8,000?
Yeah, we had to cut it down to 4. Let's put it back at 8.
And the other 1,000, would you want me to put that back up into the street and water vehicle? So they're putting in 3,000 this year?
We're in really good shape in that one, aren't we?
We are. It's up to you where you want to put that other 1,000.
I would say to put it in streets somewhere.
Drainage.
Drainage?
Because that's going to come back and bite us, I'm afraid.
Okay, so you want it in drainage?
Believe me, we can always use the money in drainage.
Yeah, with all this new rain today, it's hard to say if we're going to have any more problems in the morning or not.
Well, my garden's flooded again.
Yeah, we got a swimming pool in our backyard. Not really, Denny. It's just water.
You get a permit for that pool? Phil and Denny?
Yes.
Instead of putting 8,000 in the reserve for the backhoe, should we take a little more out of that and put it in the drainage fund? Or are you good with 8,000 and then another 1,000 in drainage?
I'm good.
At 6,500, Denny, we good?
Yep.
Okay. Make it work.
Yep.
All right. Then we are balanced with just a few $100s to spare.
I'm curious if anybody remembers from previous years, is this kind of typical that we end up transferring, $70,000, $80,000 from one year to the next to keep the budget balanced? Or are we going to have an even bigger problem next year?
It's been that way the last couple of years. Difference we're going to run into next year is we have a lot of extra into the police salaries. That kind of cushioned us this year a little bit, but typically we have quite a bit left over that we can roll over just because we never typically spend what we budget.
Right. Okay.
Okay, in a minute, I'm going to ask for somebody to make a motion to approve the budget. But let's go last call for questions or comments on the budget. My comment is I thank everybody for working on this diligently. This has been a little bit different this year. The revenues are unknown, and still VID 19 could have an impact on that. We've made some adjustment for it. Our police staffing has been a tough issue, and we're working on that, trying to get that going again. It hasn't been, in my opinion, quite as easy as some budget years. So I want to thank everybody for working on this. If anybody has any comments or questions, now's the time to bring them up.
I think we're going to have to watch our P's and Q's because I think the drainage is going to be more expensive. But I think a new backhoe will keep Denny busy.
Put that on.
Can't do anything bad, Denny.
I'm waiting for a drought year.
No, that's as bad too. It's just spring.
Okay, if nobody else has any questions or comments on the budget, would anybody make a motion to approve the budget?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the budget that's displayed in front of us. Any last comments or questions? Not, Allison, do roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Don Gibson,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
All right, thanks, everybody. We will get the budget done and passed and on time this year, so.
Yay. I am assuming that Sarah will send these out tomorrow, the final.
Yeah, I'll send it out.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
I'm the one I have is off a few thousand.
It will be. I'll get those sent out.
Sarah, you have to send that into the county too, don't you?
Yeah, once it's all approved, we'll go to the county.
Okay, so it's time for the citizens hearing. Sarah, have you heard from any of the citizens that they would like to relay a comment?
I do not have any comments.
Okay, if not, the citizens hearing portion is over. Anybody else have any comments or discussions before we adjourn? I'm going to advise everybody to keep a close ear to the news to see what happens with all the court cases going on. It should be interesting over the next couple of weeks to see how this stay-at-home order gets changed or possibly changed. So stay tuned to the news. So if nobody else has anything, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn and a second. Allison, please do roll call.
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kathy Brooks,
Yes.
Jim Campbell,
Yes.
Don Gibson,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Pat O'Grady.
Yes.
All right, I want to thank everybody. And Sarah, thanks for all your help in getting the meeting set up and everything. And be sure to get your agenda to Allison for our meeting in May. It's about a week away. So thanks, everybody. Good night.
All right, bye.
Hey, Dave,
Yeah.
I got a question. I don't know, are all the trustees aware, May 5th for that Lampert land swap, that we all have to be present?
I'll be there.
Trustees will be there for the May meeting.
Yep.
Yep. I'll be there.
You too.
I just want to make sure because we've waited a long time to get this resolved.
Okay, so everybody present. There will be another Zoom meeting the way things set right now, are any meetings in May will probably be Zoom, but hopefully our regular meeting will be the only meeting. So, all right, we'll see everybody in a week then.
Bye.
Bye.
Aye.
All right, thanks.